How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty podcast. I'm your host, Keith Demolder, here for another edition. And today's edition is going to be a doozy. We are recording here on Sunday night, Monday morning, very early morning here from San Diego. We have the City Connect jersey on, and I know it's Nick Beach's favorite jersey, so I had to rep it for today's episode. So I just want to give a shout out to the commish real quick. But we have a bunch of topics we're going to talk about today, from World Baseball Classic to spring training to little Winterfell League update. We'll talk more about some free agents that I'm surprised have not been signed to actual major league teams, and then we will talk about Winterfell League free agents that are still not got, despite plenty of teams needing actual bats and arms on their squads. But I digress. So first, let's get into our Winterfell League update without further ado. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of the guys for some of their acquisitions thus far in 2026, at least as of late. We've already talked about the first-year player draft, but now let's get into some of the kind of off-season acquisitions. So rolling down the list, Nick with the big pickup of Kyle Harrison, Rowdy Brito and Dominic Canzone, Bouchard with Randy Vasquez, Brady House, Newman with Ching Shen Ko, and then Zane with Justin Gonzalez, Nate with Landon Roop, Noah with Justin Sterner, Will Vest, and Walbert Urena. The Bahds, us, with Paul Sewald, Didier Fuentes, Luis de Leon, and Juan Valera, and then Joey with Aaron Estrada. So looking at this list overall, we'll get into our guys in a sec, but just want to shout out Nick for picking up Kyle Harrison, who I think could be a potential dark horse, a great pickup for him, because as we're seeing in the early goings, a lot of injuries for Milwaukee right now. It seems that Harrison is going to be the guy to potentially break out for that Brewers rotation. Quinn Priester, there's some questions about him. Logan Henderson has had some injury stuff. He might begin the year either on IL or in AAA. I think that's kind of been somewhat of the consensus. And then also Chad Pracek, there's some injury stuff with him as well. So appears that Harrison is going to get starts. Thus far, he's improved in terms of velocity, and his stuff is better, allegedly. He's had some good games. He had kind of a stinker this weekend, but we will see. So, talking with Nick, he said it was a high upside pick. You can never be mad about that. So, for a little bit over $20, it's not a bad pickup. Rowdy Brito, minor league player of the year for the Rockies. I like that pick as well. Dominican guy, low stakes. And then Dominic Canzone, a guy that they're saying is going to DH and hit primarily against righties. We will see. I'm not sure what that will bring. Canzone kind of playing for time in that very crowded Seattle outfield, so we will see. For Bouchard, Randy Vasquez, the guy is pumping 96 for the Pods. He might be a new guy. He might be a legitimate fourth pitcher for San Diego Padres this season. He looked good today. He's been looking good all spring. Again, plenty of guys can look good in the spring and then not perform during the year. So we will see, but I like the claim by Bouchard for sure. He has plenty of pitchers. He needs to drop a guy. We are seeing him pick up guys when he shouldn't. So he needs to drop someone. But we all know what he needs to do. Either way, Brady House, another pick that we mentioned. We put him on the BOD watch list, the BOD list on Twitter. Brady House, a guy who, a third baseman. Third base is a premium position in the league right now. And he's a guy who's young, 23 years old. He's been productive this spring, hitting 400 plus in his ABs. Power is there, extra base hits are there. He can field. He's a five-tool type of guy. Not a bad pickup for him. Going down the list, no one I really love per se from the rest of them. Just good minor league guys. Zane getting Justin Gonzalez from Boston, not a bad pickup. Nate at least doing something. Roop might be a guy for. It might be one of those, long relief starter type guys for the Giants. We will see how he turns out. I do like Noah at least adding some relief depth. Now, Will Vest is going to be a setup guy in Detroit, but injuries happen, and Will Vest has a track record of being successful. Justin Sterner has a legitimate chance to be the closer in, I want to say Sacramento, but for the Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas Athletics. He has a chance to be the ace closer. We will see. Urania as well is a name to watch out for the Angels. I liked him. Big fan of that. And then Joey getting the former Bod, Aaron Estrada, on his squad. We kind of mentioned it in the pod, but the correction actually, he has 10-plus home runs, a bunch of stolen bases, and a good average. I think we said 15 or 20. That was not correct. But either way, a couple good acquisitions for the league. And so, I just want to shout out our guys. All right, so before we get to some news and thoughts, let's talk about spring training. So overall, we kind of talked about it with Joey a little bit. Last pod was more of a, as we do, we want to talk to the guys, get their opinions. This is a pod for the league, really. But obviously, if you're watching this right now, you might be a Dynasty baseball fan. So we do talk about Dynasty strategy and things like that as well that, aren't Winterfell related. The thing about spring training right now, we are almost a week away from the season. I'm super stoked. I'm very excited. WBC title game coming up here in a couple days. March Madness is here. I could give less of 5 damns about that right now. All I care about is baseball. So spring training winding down. I think we'll get into it later in the pod. But a big thing is we're seeing guys get sent down. We're seeing guys get optioned. Guys get reassigned. But a big thing as well is that we're seeing rotations start to take place. We're seeing closer kind of situations start to take place as well, and lineups start to take place. A big thing, we'll talk about it later as well, but Carson Williams right now, has been optioned. He is still in Major League camp, but the issue for him is you look at, talking with Joey, you want to see where in the order he's batting. Is he getting starts, and is he coming off the bench? And right now, that's what's happening. Carson Williams for the Rays coming off the bench, which, interestingly enough, so for the Bahds, we're like, I hate to see this. We want Williams to be good. Yes, that's true. We always want our hitters to do okay. But to be honest, I would rather have Williams be not a guy and go in AAA and be in our minors because he's approaching that threshold of going above, minor league eligibility. So I would rather not have him suck and get major league at bats. I'd rather him develop a little bit more in the minors. He's still young, still 22. So, but yeah, anyway, so some things to watch out for. I think plenty of people look too much into minor league stats, of course, me being one of them. But I think really the order matters, and we're always seeing this. We'll have the starter, let's say, a Kyle Harrison or a Verlander go 4 or 5 innings. The closer is usually the guy right behind him. So, we saw Kenley Jansen go right after the starter. We see Pete Fairbanks. We see, Raisel Iglesias. Every single closer is immediately right after the starter. There might be where the starter goes, 3 and a third, and then the 2 outs are earned by some random guy. Then after that, so it's not necessarily right after, but it's the next inning up sort of thing. So. Anyway, something to watch out for. We'll have plenty more spring training thoughts, but I'm a little bit sad that Connor Hines and I, my co-GM, weren't able to get out to Florida this year. Or, there's still time to go to Arizona, but it doesn't appear to be in the cards for the Bahds this season, which is a shame. But hey, duty calls. I'm in grad school. Doing internship stuff. Connor's out there working his tail off in Atlanta, so it is what it is. But hey, next season we'll make it happen. All right, so some general Padres thoughts that I have on the pod. So, obviously, don't love the Joe Musgrove news that things are not great for his elbow. Now, there is still a chance that he starts, or is a starter opening week, makes the opening day roster. But as of right now, things aren't looking super good, which worries me. And then there were some issues with Pivetta. I mean, Pivetta still, threw a good game the other day, so I'm not worried about him. King has been fine. Pivetta, as we mentioned, fine. But right now, if Musgrove is going to be projected to be on the injured list, well, then we need someone after Randy Vasquez. So Randy Vasquez moves up. What, Herman Marquez? I don't know. That's not inspiring much confidence right now. Walker Buehler currently slated to be the fifth starter. That is not what we need. We do not need Walker Buehler being our fifth guy. So it's tough when you see setbacks from a guy like Musgrove, who's supposed to be like an anchor in the rotation, and he spent a year off, man. Like it's time to get healthy. But I also understand not wanting to rush him back. Kyle Hart is likely to be in the bullpen. We will see if he'll be a guy, but I don't know. I don't love Herman Marquez being the fourth pitcher on this Padres squad. You got to hope that Cannon comes back sooner than later, but big questions for him. I don't know. We will see. JP Sears is also an option. You look at some of these starters. Matt Waldron, maybe. Marco Gonzalez got absolutely lit up the other day. There's no chance that he's going to be making the opening day roster. I think the prayer, the hope is that this sale goes, swimmingly for the Pods, and that they spend some money and get Lucas Giolito. That would be the optimal. Will it happen? I don't know. Probably not. But we can dream. The other thing, too, just talking about the Pods, I think the roster, the lineup's taking shape. We saw Toddy go absolutely ham the WBC. I'd love to see that. He's, absolutely stoked. Hopefully he carries over that energy. Same thing with Manny as well. And, I mean, these guys can hit. It's never been a question of whether they can hit or not, right? So, Bogarts is back, Merrill, Machado, Toddy. That top four, pretty damn solid. Then we got Cronenworth, Laureano, Sheets after that. And then, obviously, Andujar and Fermin. I like the collection in this roster. Like, I think they're a lot better than they were at the start of last year, and that's saying a lot. Then you got Campy and Nick Castellanos on the bench. Maybe Ty France sneaks in there as an on-roster invite. Bryce Johnson, he's going to be that speed guy off the bench. I like the hitting. I like what we can see from this lineup for the Padres. I am not necessarily super worried about them scoring runs. Sung Moon Song, our dog on the Bahds draft pick, did strain his oblique yet again, which we'd love to see that, right? Him and Will Wagner both out with a strained oblique. So they're taking their time with Song. I don't know what will happen. Like right after he hits his first home run, in that same game, he goes out, and it's like, all right, well, that's just unfortunate. So not ideal, but I think the Pods do have some depth in the minors. Samad Taylor, Clay Dungan, maybe Pablo Reyes, or a Jose Miranda, a Mason McCoy. These are guys that I'd feel fine playing for like a couple weeks or whatever if really we're in a pinch. But I have no issue with the lineup. I think the lineup's going to be okay, especially with new hitting coaches. I think we will see. But yeah, general Pods thoughts. I think that we saw a couple guys make a name for themselves. Rodolfo Duran, a guy, catching prospect. He's going to be in AAA this year. We will see from him. Ethan Salas, really, I don't even know what we're doing here. I mean, I know the guy is super young. He's still developing, but I don't know. I feel like he should be making more noise by now. Like he should be on a Jesus Madej track, but he's not. I liked what we saw. Yeah, Jace Bowen, I think, had a couple of good games. Nick Solak, I think, had a homer or two here or there. The one guy that I think most folks on Twitter, their ears are perking up is Romeo Sanabria, who he's a first baseman. He's going to be in AA. Might be in AAA. He was showing off the bat. So that's like the one shining star bat from the minors that's like a homegrown talent for the Pods. Otherwise, I mean, this minor league system is rough. Like it is not ideal. Yeah, Alex Verdugo, the former bod in the system. I don't know. I'm not. Doesn't inspire a ton of confidence. So we will see. But anyway, those are my Padres thoughts. All right, moving on. WBC stuff. I almost feel like a broken record talking about the WBC, but I will say this. I will say the hype is fun. I think that I'm paying a little bit more attention to it than I have in years past, mainly because I'm more into baseball now than I was. But I will say I think that this whole handshake thing, I appreciate the people being pissed off because I think it's ridiculous, to be honest. Like, I think it's ridiculous the fact that, what's his name? That Cal Raleigh wouldn't shake Randy Rosarena's hand or wouldn't shake, Josh Naylor's hand. Now, I know Josh Naylor came out after the game saying it was just trolling and he's a funny guy, and us Padres fans know about Josh Naylor's antics very well. But I think that, I don't know. Yeah, like people online, there's so many critics online, on Twitter especially. But I think they actually nailed it in the fact that Team USA doesn't have a ton of aura. Like, I hate to sound like a Gen Z kid, but I agree. I think that you see the Dominican, you see the Venezuelan teams, and they are a ton of fun. They celebrate home runs. They get out of the dugout when they hit a bomb. They show a ton of passion. I don't think the United States is known for their solemnness, and we must be respectful. Like, has that been the American way? Like, we shoot off millions of fireworks on the 4th of July. Like, we celebrate the littlest of things. I don't understand why we're all of a sudden just super solemn. I don't get it. To me, I think it's a little bit weird from Cal Raleigh to not at least give a little dap up. Like, you don't need to hug. We don't, I liked that. That they hugged, Toddy and the rest of, and Contreras, I believe, hugged to start the game or whatever. That was cool. I thought that was fine. I think camaraderie is cool. I think that we don't need to hate each other on the baseball field. But even if say you want to be locked in competition, or a lot of people were saying, oh, he doesn't want to get pine tar on his hands, then just dap him with the glove. Just a quick little dap up. Like, that's sportsmanship. What? We can't shake hands after the game because it's competition, because we're so locked in that, everyone's like, oh, well, we can't be fraternizing. Yeah, Trisha Whitaker saying, oh, this isn't a tea party. Like, give me a break, man. This is the World Baseball Classic. Part of it is about inspiring baseball across the world. Part of that is showing good sportsmanship, showing common courtesy, showing that, we respect one another. And I think part of that respect is giving a little dap up to begin the game. You see Shohei in a lot of the Asian countries, they, tip the cap. They bow, they acknowledge each other. I think that's cool. So to be Cal Raleigh, I'm so sick. Like, I'm not going to dap up my opponent. Like, I don't know. I thought that was a little childish. Like, what leg are you standing on here? Maybe I could see if the country that you were playing was, like Russia or some other countries that have committed military acts, that, all right, we're doing this as a protest, but no, you just don't feel, I don't know, just a little bit strange. And then the whole, point ahead, point forward towards enemy or whatever, like a Claymore t-shirt that he was wearing the other day, like, I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't like it. So anyway, and then the Navy SEAL guy was given the half, or the pregame speech. Just feels a little weird. Just very, I don't mean to go off a political sort of angle here on the pod, but just was a little bit strange. I thought that we could have had, maybe like Ken Griffey Jr. or something give a speech, like Randy Johnson, American baseball players, that played the game, that are legends, Hank Aaron, guys like that. But instead you bring this Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden, right? Like, doesn't really seem very relevant to me. A little bit weird. I digress. WBC, though, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it ends. A couple Bahds. If anybody was checking the Twitter page, they know that a couple Bahds are playing in the WBC, which I think is a fantastic opportunity. Just for baseball players in general, but mainly for these minor league guys who are playing for their home countries. Sam Antonacci, a big guy who has come up clutch, home run, inside the park home run. It was, a triple turn homer for him, diving into home plate, making good plays defensively. He's a guy he's probably going to start in AAA, but I would not be shocked if he makes some majors this year. He's on our team. Love that guy, Jacob. Joe Davis was saying Jacob Marcy with the emphasis on the C rather than Jacob Marcy like we've been saying. I don't know what the correct way is. Well, I guess we'll find out this year. But JM, our guy, our bod, he was looking good. And then who else for Team Italy? Oh yeah, Aaronola. Yeah, he was looking pretty solid. So anyway, I'm excited to see. I like when the Bahds are on the world stage, but I digress. Anyway, moving on. Some injuries. Yeah, we've seen this time and time again that spring training and any sort of spring ramp up is not going to be ideal. So usually guys, they'll like tear an ACL the first day of practice for like NFL or something like that. But yeah, right now, a lot of guys that have, some injuries that has issue for concern. I put in the graphic here, Green, Barrios, etc. Now, Barrios allegedly could be, out for the start of the year and is, not going to join the team. We will see. I'm not entirely sure. He's day-to-day right now, but he has elbow inflammation, which is kind of that like trigger word of like, oh shit, like we're not in a good spot. What is going to happen? And then for Cincinnati, they've had multiple guys who, we will see what happens with them. But Hunter Green right now, he's going to be out for at least, a couple months. Out till July, they say. Bone chips removed from his right elbow. So unfortunate to see from them. It's kind of going down the list. Gabby Moreno allegedly, day to day, there's some issue, potential issue with him. Merrill Kelly is likely to start this season on the injured list. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Could come back mid-April for the Diamondbacks. Just kind of going down the list. Joey Wentz, knee injury, he's out. So they're down another potential starter, which is good for us because we picked up the old Didier Fuentes, hashtag no Diddy, our guy who's a minor league gem, 20 years old, going to turn 21 this year. Unbelievable talent. He's looked fantastic this spring. We'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, the Braves already down for the count. They have not looked good. Cool thing though, Ryan Mountcastle, he's day to day, but he says that his hand is okay, so he'll return to play soon. We will see. We saw. Romy Gonzalez is going to undergo surgery for his shoulder, so potentially will be out for an extended period of time for the Red Sox, which I guess is good for, first base eligibility. Whoever takes that position for the Red Sox, we will see. I like Roman Gonzalez. He was a guy that he had a fantastic average last year, but unfortunately hurt right now. Another update, though, about our bod, Justin Steele, starting pitcher for the Cubs. He faced live hitters Friday for the first time in 11 months from his UCL revision surgery last year. People are expecting him to come back late, like come back like in June sort of thing. The hope was like, oh, he might be ready for opening day. That's probably not going to happen, but I'd hope at least May, not June. That's like almost not half the year, but a good chunk of the season. I'd rather that not be the case. Another thing we saw too as well, Seiya Suzuki, right knee discomfort. So Cubs might be without one of their top outfielders. So we will see. Going down the list, Mike Vasil, right elbow soreness. Not what you want to see either. A ton of elbow stuff going on this spring. Brooks Baldwin, right elbow inflammation, not ideal. Oh yeah, Kyle Teal. That was the hilarious thing. You saw him that off-season workout where he's like kicking his leg back as hard as he could, like with that random trainer, just doing the wackest exercises. And now he is, sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks. So why are we going to trainers who don't know what the hell they're doing? Like, there's all these trainers doing like the wackest, like little exercises. I'm like, who is this for? I don't know. Maybe I'm very old school, probably. Like, I just think the best way to get better is, yeah, you actually want to train and lift weights and do cardio and all that. But some of these weird ones, I'm like, when is this ever going to come up in a game situation where you're going to kick your leg back like that? I don't know. There's got to be a better way. I don't know. I digress. Anyway, moving on. I mean, Jose Ramirez, we saw today, removed from the game due to a shoulder injury. We will see. Maybe it's not as bad as people think. But, of course, with Guardians fans, the sky is always falling. George Valera, speaking of Guardians, a mild left calf strain. So he's not going to be playing. Because I noticed that he wasn't getting in lineups. And I'm like, this is weird. Usually he's an every other day kind of guy. But, Valera's injured, which maybe he'll start the year on the IL. I'm unsure. We will see. Anyway, going down the list, Blaine Krim, guy for the Rockies, an oblique strain right now, so he's day-to-day. Trey Sweeney just started a throwing program for the Tigers. I don't know if that's big. Since we last talked, I believe Troy Melton, our dog, he started a throwing program on his elbow. He's on the 60-day IL, which is good. That frees up a spot for us in our lineup. So he's likely to stay on the IL, but the fact that he is throwing with an elbow injury, I think, is promising that he's not going to be shut down or, need surgery or something like that. So we will see. Jeremy Pena for the Astros has been swinging the bat with one hand and fielding ground balls during his rehab. He might be good for opening day. If not, that opens up some positions. We will see what happens there. Josh Hader is going to begin the season on the IL, so Nick certainly happy about that because he has Brian Abreu, who's likely to be the closer for the Astros. Michael Massey and Jonathan India, both injured for the Royals. My Royals, unfortunately. India with a groin injury. A lot of these injuries are kind of precautionary. So you guys get taken out. You don't want to get hurt more in spring training. Like if you're going to get hurt during the season, right? So Massey has a low-grade calf strain and could be sidelined a week. I think he's going to make the team either way. Stephen Kolek, our dog, former dog. Oblique injury, is playing catch from 60 feet. So he's likely to stay on the IL to start the year. We will see. Zach Neto as well. Some people saw like a cast or like a brace on his left hand. Allegedly, reportedly rather, X-rays came back negative, so he will be okay. But Robert Stevenson, a guy, so that Angels back end of the bullpen, who's going to be the closer, nobody knows. I think that more and more right now it's looking like Kirby Yates is going to be the guy. Stevenson in the mix, but he had a setback, and his shoulder is going to be kind of an issue moving forward, so he's likely to begin the year on the IL. Ben Joyce has been throwing bullpens, but he will start the year on the IL as well. So it's either going to be, at least as of right now, either Kirby Yates or Jordan Romano, and I don't think Jordan Romano has the stuff, but again, we will see. For the Dodgers, meanwhile, Gavin Stone could be ramping up things. Blake Snell threw a 15-pitch bullpen session on Thursday, so they're likely, trying to get him back. A lot of guys are ramping up, but Plenty of injuries for the Dodgers that they want to get over soon enough. Maximo Acosta, nobody really cares about the Marlins. Sorry, I digress. For the Brewers, as we mentioned, Logan Henderson could make Cactus League appearance here soon. Quinn Priester, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, with his wrist injury, hoping to make his appearance in late April or the start of May. So him and Henderson both hurt right now. Henderson obviously in a better position to make the rotation, but not ideal. Brandon Woodruff is going to make the start for the Brewers, so he appears to be fine. Walker Jenkins also, dealing with a hamstring, but he's going to be in AAA either way. So that's the one thing you look at the Twins, you're not even really sure what the hell they're doing, because, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but there are so many guys that are, hurt, but also, like we saw with Joe Ryan, allegedly some back thing has come up. But they have such talented outfielders that they're just going to let toil in AAA. Like, this is a lost season. Play your guys. But no, they want to manipulate service time and not have to pay them. And it's just ridiculous. Like, why are you going to trot out, like Alan Rodin? Like, why? We don't need to be doing this. Anyway, I digress. For the Mets, Francisco Lindor, he played this weekend. He's checked every box, but there's still questions of whether he'll start opening day. Not sure. We will see. I wouldn't be shocked if he was on the IL, but playing in games is cool. You love to see that. Anyway, I digress. Move down the list. We know Volpe's been out, but he's likely to have a slow comeback. Garrett Cole, a 35-pitch live batting practice session on Thursday. He could make an appearance in the game. Carlos Rodon, live batting practice session last week. So we will see. Yankees potentially getting their guys back. Moving down the list. For the Phils, Zach Wheeler, live batting practice session on Saturday. So again, some of these guys that are going to likely start the year on the IL, still getting in work. It's not like they're going to be, not doing anything. Like, they're throwing, but not, it's not 100%. But it's at least something. They're not fully shut down. So that's good for them. As we mentioned with the Pods, Will Wagner, oblique strain, hasn't really done much. O'Brien Hoeing is going to be out for the year. Flexor tendon surgery for him. And that trade still looks just as crappy as it did back in the day. So anyway, our Marlins trades have not been too kind for the Pods. Matt Waldron, with a lower body issue, threw 25 pitches in the live batting practice session on Thursday. So Waldron, with all these injuries, if Musgrove's on the IL to start the year, maybe it's Waldron at the end of the rotation. I don't think so, but we will see. Anyway, Jason Adam, our former guy, we had to drop this week. He's going to throw one additional simulated game. Hoping to pitch soon. He hasn't come back yet, but Jason Adam could be on his way. Griffin Canning as well. We will see. But likely he's going to be on the IL. For the Giants, Hayden Birdsong, a bod for a bit, a guy that has great stuff but just has not put it together. A grade 2 forearm strain, a UCL sprain as well. Not ideal. He's going to our dog, Keith, Dr. Keith Meister, for a second opinion, per reports. So, not ideal for the Giants, who already are struggling with some injuries as well to their bullpen. For the Mariners, not much, but I will say this, Brendan Davis, guy that not a lot of people know about, unless you're a sicko like me. This guy is like used to be a former top guy, former top prospect, just has not found it. Was with the Yankees, has moved around a ton, has been absolutely going off this spring, and then he had left hamstring tightness in the other game, which is not ideal, but he still has a chance. It's not like he's done or he's done for the year, but I'd like to see him make the roster. I don't know if he will, but that would be fun. The Cardinals, meanwhile, Hunter Dobbins is going to begin the season on the IL. Ivan Herrera in a much better spot with his knee, and the team says that he could make the opening day roster. So fingers crossed for that. We will see. Meanwhile, for the Rays, Edwin Uceta threw a bullpen session on Saturday. So I think all like signals point to Griffin Jax being the guy in Tampa. I mean, right now Jack's pitching for Team USA, but it appears that with Uceta like just throwing bullpens, that it's likely going to be Griffin Jax for Tampa. So we will see there. For Texas, meanwhile, they've had some like kind of issues here or there. Sebastian Walcott, I think the main kind of injury on his right elbow in internal brace procedure. So not Tommy John, but kind of the new Tommy John we're seeing. A damn shame, but he's out. So there was some questions about him. He wasn't going to make the roster, but definitely an exciting prospect for sure. Shane Bieber is going to throw off a flat ground and reevaluated this week for the Jays. Again, likely to start the year on the IL. As we mentioned with Jose Barrios, elbow inflammation from him. We will see what happens. And then, Bowden Francis. What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. We already talked about him before, but anyway. And then for the Nats, DJ Hurst, member of Team Joey, currently in the IL slot for him, threw a bullpen session on Friday. So maybe Joey will get some much needed guys, but I digress. Anyway, that's been your update on injuries from around the league. Appreciate you checking in. So anyway, moving on here to kind of, we'll talk about free agents just in terms of like the league, like in baseball in a moment. But now we're going to talk about free agents in the Winterfell League. And so this is the categories guys who should be got, who haven't gotten got yet, who have not got yet. All right, so this is a list of the current free agents on waivers right now in our league that I think should be got, especially by some of these bad teams. But I digress. A lot of digressing in this episode. I apologize for that, but when I have to do it, I have to do it. All right, going down the list. Max Muncy from the A's, Willie Castro, Adrian Hauser, Mauricio Dubon, Chase Dollander, Johan Oviedo, Cole Young, Brett Beatty, Max Scherzer, Steven Matz, Bryce Elder, and Eric Lauer. So I guess, it's going down the list, I guess. Like, some of these bats, I mainly put them on here because they're young and or have opportunity. So Muncy, Cole Young, Brett Beatty, kind of in similar territory. Fighting for spots, high K guys, not high average per se. I think Beatty, the most talented out of all of them, or at least proven, like can hit home runs and can hit for some average. Cole Young, a top prospect who got dropped by Nick, right? Nobody wants him. Nobody picked him up because there is the Colt Emerson of it all in Seattle. And it's like, all right, well, what do you do? Who's going to be the open day starter? We don't know that yet. But Cole Young has had some, bit of a resurgence here as of late for the Mariners. I think the thing with Muncy that I like, again, a former Bahd, Max Muncy, he hits homers. He's got that pop. He was a Bahd watch candidate. So I like him. And I think, again, for Team Joey, we know your team's going to be bad. Just pick up these young guys. Team Noah, same thing. Like, you don't need to have an Edward Julian. You can pick up a guy like Max Muncy. You can pick up a guy like Cole Young, Brett Beatty, guys that are going to get playing time and that are going to develop. Um, yeah, I think Mauricio Dubon and Willie Castro, again, older kind of veteran players playing. They're going to get a ton of ABs. Castro playing for the Rockies, you got that offensive element in Coors. For Dubon, like he's playing for the Braves, a team that is, hurt, but they're going to need all the offense they can get. I have no doubt that he's going to get a ton of at bats as well. So, Castro I liked. He was a guy that everyone kind of took their turn with, so to speak, in the league. Every time that he had a good stretch, someone would pick him up, including us. So, wouldn't be shocked if he does the same thing, in the NL West this year. So, we will see. Then look at some of these pitchers. Obviously, all of them are starters. Adrian Hauser, former BOD. I'm kind of down. I'm not down. A lot of these guys I'm not down to get. Hauser, he's playing in San Francisco, big ballpark, pitcher's ballpark. I like it. It's hard to, he's got a great sinker, and he added a little velo as well, so he's enticing me. I'm not going to cap. Much better situation than when he played for the Rays, especially in that ballpark. But I don't know. I like Hauser. I think he could be a good piece for someone's team. Going down the list, Dolander for the Rocks. You're always going to get hit at Coors. This is an unfortunate reality. But he has a couple takes on his fastball again. They changed the arm angle allegedly, and his fastball's up to now like 199, whereas before it was more like 96 last season. He got absolutely lit up. He hasn't been lights out this spring, but he's been good enough to where it's like, all right, like it might be a guy, and especially in Dynasty, young, former first rounder, former BOD. I think he could be something to watch out for. I don't know. We will see. Oviedo, they're saying he's going to be the fifth starter in Boston, so I don't know why you wouldn't want to take a flyer on him, considering the Red Sox can score runs. They play, at Fenway. I like it. We will see. So with the Barrios injury of it all, you have and the Bieber injury of it all, there is opportunity. You got Scherzer and you got Lauer, and so the biggest question is who will get those opportunities for the Jays. So taking a look at their depth chart right now per Fangraphs. Kevin Gausman, Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce, Scherzer is in there as the fourth starter, and then Trey Savage, I guess they're going to say is good. Now, there's been reports that Savage is going to pitch not that many innings, so a guy like Lauer could be the sixth man, like a guy that spot starts and then does long relief, right? I'm not opposed, right? I'm not opposed to, even Scherzer, we've seen him, his fastball's still running. He's throwing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. I correct myself from the last pod when I said that I think Joey might have said something like, oh, he's not throwing that hard. Well, he is throwing hard. He is throwing 96. So, and he's been effective. 94, 95. Like he hasn't lost it. Is it where it was? No, but it's not like he's an absolute scrub. He's not like a Tristan McKenzie or like a Bueller. Like this is Scherzer. Like he could start for any team in the league right now, be their fifth starter. So. I'm looking at that. I'm pretty enticed. These are guys right now that I'm like, how have they not gotten got yet? Like they need to be gotten. Bryce Elder, I know there's a lot of teams in the league that hate Bryce Elder, but there's so much opportunity. Currently listed as the fifth starter per Fangraphs. I think a couple guys are giving him the run for his money. As we mentioned in our guy, Didier Fuentes, J.R. Ritchie has been really solid. First round pick, 2022. Both of them they're looking pretty solid. They're pleading their case. Martin Perez as well. Maybe, again, that's the thing. We talk about the spring training piece generally, like teams when it comes, like, you got to be real special to be a minor leaguer to get a spot over a major league non-roster guy. Teams, they will go with the guy who has major league experience. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, you have to be really, really special, top prospect kind of guy to get the opening day roster spot over a major league non-roster invite. I think that's just how it goes sometimes. So anyway, those are my guys who should have gotten got that have not got got. All right, moving on. So some dark horses. These are guys that, again, like, you look at some of these names, these have been like pretty established names in fantasy. Like, it's no shock that these guys have been okay. I put these names on here because, like, some of these guys' careers are basically dead, and so I'm like, hey, these are some dark horses that they could be a guy. Go down the list: Oswald Peraza, Jordan Romano, Eloy Jimenez, Kumar Rocker, Nick Castellanos, Paul Goldschmidt, Mike Yastrzemski, Kyle Leahy, Jake Mangum, Luis Rengifo, Jake Latz, Angel Martinez, and Anthony Kay. So these are guys that, I mean, Oswald Peraza, former top prospect playing for the Angels. We'll talk about this later, but Christian Moore just got optioned to AAA. So there is some availability in the Angels infield right now, and that's likely to be taken by Adam Frazier. Will he be successful? I don't know. But Peraza, a former top prospect, still hasn't been optioned. So I don't know. Maybe he'll get the call. We'll see. Romano, again, a guy who has closed in the past. He's not a nobody. Last year he sucked, but I don't know. That's kind of my dark horse of, like, hey, like, maybe if Yates doesn't look good, Romano a little younger, excuse me, maybe he becomes a guy. Eloy Jimenez, he's likely not going to make the roster. There's just too many, currently way too many outfielders for the Jays. I mean, it's like their entire bench is just outfielders, right? But he's looked good this spring. He looks like he's back to good. So I don't know. That's kind of a guy I'm keeping my eye on it. The pitchers, Rocker, Leahy, Latz, KBO guy. I think the Sox could use a guy like that. He'll probably be long relief regardless. I mean, they're paying him millions, so he's going to get work. Same thing, kind of these relievers turn starters like Leahy, Latz. Rocker, obviously, like, he was top prospect and just kind of played like shit last year. So we don't know what's going to come for him, but the end of that rotation, the fifth spot, Latz has it right now for the Rangers, but wouldn't be shocked if Latz gets put in the long relief, and then we see Rocker get pulled up. I don't know. I mean, Rocker has a track record. He's been a starter, high prospect. I don't know. Some of these other outfield guys, Mangum or Yastrzemski. I mean, Yastrzemski and Castellanos, these are guys that played in the league for years. Goldschmidt, same thing. Bona fide stars back in the day. Always worth a flyer in case they go off and have like a Matt Carpenter in the Bronx type season, right? Always a chance. Mangum and Rengifo and Martinez. Martinez, young guy. I like the upside on him for the dynasty value, right? Mangum, how many starts is he going to get in Pittsburgh? I don't know. But he's fast. He steals bags. He's a guy that'll get you one or two a game. He's not going to hit homers. He's not going to be a huge RBI guy, but he's kind of like one of those like low risk type players that I know some of our teams in the league like. Rengifo, I think I like him because there's just so much availability. There's so much opportunity for the Brewers. So we will see that. Martinez, again, he showed some flashes last year, some pop. I believe a switch hitter as well, which I like. So that has been the players in the dark horses in the league that have not got that I wanted everyone to see. So anyway, that's going to wrap us up here for part one of this episode. Stay tuned for part two. We're going to break down more from the Winterfell League. But for now, Keith Demolder signing off. We'll see you in part 2.